I played at the national. Finally, end May I got into MX, the media company. I worked at TCS, Air India, Steel and Chemicals. So now, and if you're asking all these other long term, then maybe sometime down the line I would want to have my own company, have my own startup, venture into that side of things, because that's the side I haven't explored before.
And what level did you play with, Anindya?
I played at the
Nationals. And did you drop out because of cost or some other reason?
I did manage to get a sponsorship early on, so then cost wasn't a big factor. But I got injured in 2020, which is why I then ventured towards CAT and MBA. But now, पढ़ाई लिखाई से कोई रिश्ता नहीं था मेरा. I would
never about sport, isn't it? So I did what I hear, and some close people who are still playing sport is people say that Virat Kohli earns X millions and so some other sport person earns so many millions, but the risk level, because you can get injured anytime and that's the end of your career, which is not so in a corporate career. If you fall sick, yes, you'll come back in 1 month, you'll come back in 2 weeks if you fall sick. But in a sport, that's the end of your career. That's it.
Fair. But I see, I agree and disagree with you in one sense. Of course, that injury risk is there in sports. But like you could say that for any field, कि कभी भी कुछ भी हो सकता है. Also, like if you look at the corporate wala side also. So there's very few people who actually end up making it to the top. Very few people who actually end up making it to a good B school. So the risk factor is always there, and how physical injury is one thing. But a lot of players that I know, I mean, they've dealt with injuries, others come back and done even better than. So it depends on the scale of the injury, the type of the injury. So my injury was such that even with a procedure, it couldn't be healed. I got a cartilage tear. So cartilage tear means, in my shoulder. So that is pretty much it. But it's not that common. Mostly, like the common types of injuries you would see is ligament tear or ankle dislocation, something of that sort. I mean, those 6 months to 8 months, you can come back.
So you did some summer internship and then you got placements. Tell us about that.
So my summer internship was with summer internship का time तो मेरे लिए बहुत ही brutal था, because while as compared to other colleges, I would say Calcutta का placement culture is still relatively relaxed. Like there's not a lot of ऐसा ragging वाला scene जो बहुत सारे colleges में आजकल वैसा नहीं है. But at the same time, they weren't very happy with me. And I managed to secure a 5-company ban in my summer internship process, which then removed all the Genmar and marketing the top companies. But it's hard to. I think it's like any other IM wala, which if you want to be at the top, then you have to work hard. But if you want to be average, then you can be average very easily. So that was the case. उसके बाद फिर यहाँ पर उनका वही पूरा image बना हुआ था. Then they were like, ये company ban है वो. So finally, end May I got into MX, the media company.
Actually banned you from 5 companies. See, that earns you respect, Anindya, in my books. Agar tum Silicon Valley, if you apply for some you must have heard about Y Combinator, right? So a startup like system है. So they actually ask you, like, did you ever get banned in anything? कुछ naughty किया है life में? So that's literally one of the criteria is to accept you into Y Combinator. So you joined TAS in 2023, September के आसपास.
No, our joining happened in June.
So it's been a year now.
Yeah.
And how much of that has been training? And when did you actually start the real job?
So we joined on 22nd June. And so they have, since they've modeled it after the IS system, they follow a lot of things which are similar to the IS. So पहले वो भारत दर्शन कराया, of course from a Tata angle. So we did that. So that lasted around 20 days. Then we have a stint. So the way the program works is that in your first year, you do 4 stints lasting 3 months each. So 3 months and 3 into 3 or 8 2 months. And it's with different companies, different domains. And then you have your final placement, and in which you choose one company, one domain, one role. So
you guys do the Bharat Darshan, and then you guys do 3-month internships in 3 companies, and then 1-2-month internship in the 4th Tata company, right?
So it's not exactly an internship because we get the same authority as a full-time employee.
Share with us a little bit more about what did you see when you went through 4 different stints, like 3 months and then a 2-month stint. Did you see a common thread across these Tata companies? did you see ki culturally there is a common thread? You did feel that?
No, I did feel that. There is a common thread. Now, it varies. So, I worked at TCS, Air India, Steel and Chemicals. So, now, Air India is a far more modern company, so as to speak. Even though it comes from that ex-government situation, they have modernized quite a fair bit. By modern, I mean things are faster. Essentially, the decision-making process is faster, and of course, they have a transformation department which is responsible for making these.
When you worked in Air India, Mumbai में Air India tower है, वहाँ पे काम किया था. So now the head office has moved to Gurgaon. So you work from Gurgaon head office. So you think that you felt there was a common cultural theme between, say, Air India, then we'll go to TCS, and what was the third and fourth company where you entered that?
Steel and Chemicals, Tata Steel, Tata Chemicals.
And you felt there was a common theme, though different companies are at different levels of modernization. और तुम कह रहे हो कि Air India you felt was much more modern than the others.
So Steel and Chemicals were far more traditional, so to speak. Like a lot of people would call it sarkari. I don't see it that way necessarily, but more bureaucratic in the decision making, lengthier chain. That definitely was there. So, but all in all, a common theme was this key. Of course, there'll be good people and bad people in every organization. Like people you like, people you don't like. But what I found common was that even those who you don't like or who you feel are not good people, they would still abide by a common norm of being polite, being kind, and so on. Now, in reality, you may feel that this person is pretending, but that's also worth something, I feel. If the person feels compelled to pretend to adhere to that sort of culture, so that is also something. So that common thread was there across all the companies. And it's there in this company as well. So I'm in Titan right now, so it's there here as well.
So, and then you finally came to Titan just this month, right?
Yeah.
And what's your role?
Titan abhi sirf gadiyan banata hai, because there was that Beethoven Titan ad that I've seen over and over in the last many years. So Beethoven wala ad abhi bhi chal raha hai?
I don't think it's running like it's on air anymore. But Titan is actually, TCS is number one in terms of revenue if you look at all the Tata companies. So it's also because, IT consulting here and Tata they have got a lot of clients abroad. The number two is Titan.
Very interesting. And watches have a very interesting phenomenon to them. Like when we graduated from IIMS at that time, the watches served some kind of utility because not everyone were carrying phones in their pocket all the time. But then they've lost the utility function, but now the jewelry aspect of watches has come up. Like people are wearing watches as fashion statements and as a jewelry instead of for the utility.
Or the smart aspect of watches.
Sure, or the smart aspect of watches. Does Titan have some smart watches, Anindya?
Fast and Titan both have smart watches.
Okay.
Nice, very nice, very nice. Acha, Anindya, so I want to take a step back now.
Okay.
Well, we've done Tata, we've done IIM, we've done a lot of things. I want to ask you two questions, and I think both are interrelated. What's next for you, and where do you see yourself 30 years from now?
So short term, I would say I want to stick to Titan. In the next two to 3 years, I think I'll be with Titan. And unless there's some great opportunity that comes by, I think it will be Titan only, because in my 1 month here, I've been enjoying myself. So I think it will continue that way. So career-wise, I think short term by long term, I would say long term again. If you're looking 5-6 years down the line, I think I'll most probably still be with TAP because I'm satisfied with the perks, with the salary and everything. So I think I'll still be here, but of course by then I would want to have explored at least one more company apart from Titan. So by that time, and if you're asking all with other long term, then maybe sometime down the line I would want to have my own company, have my own startup, venture into that side of things, because that's the side I haven't explored before. Because ye hoga, I know for sure कि after 7, if I stick to the same role, same job, 7-8 साल 10 साल हो जाए, then I will feel that need to I can now take that risk of going out and seeing what I can do on my own. But again, that is dependent on one fact. If I'm with TAS and every time I change a company or I change a role, or even if it's the same role, if I see myself facing new challenges, learning every day, अगर उस type का situation ही चल रहा है, then I might end up sticking to that. So a lot of the people I've known, so actually one of my mom's school friends was a Tata, so she was an A graduate. So she stuck to the Tata group for 20 years, and she was someone who was very, very motivated and always looking for new challenges. And she found she found all of those within the Tata group. For a lot of people, it may not work out the same way. For me, it may not happen the same way. But as of now, I think it will help me learn a lot, especially because of the number of industries there are. So they are there in every possible industry. Like मुझे किसी भी sector का, even if I have a startup idea. So let's say tomorrow I feel like, okay, I can do this. I can have a company based on this. So there would be a Tata company which would offer similar challenges and a similar learning. उस industry में वो होंगे ही कहीं ना कहीं. So I would want to have that experience before I go into the entrepreneurship domain. For example, if tomorrow I say कि I want to have an app or a digital platform for something, or if I say I want to venture into a classical कि भाई मुझे luxury chips बेचने हैं, कुछ भी करना है, so I know for sure कि okay, TCPL will give me that chips बेचने का experience. If I want something digital, so Tata Digital, Tata New, Tata Play, these companies will give me that digital experience. Until and unless I get a startup idea. And even if I do get a startup idea, so then I'll want to experience that within the Tata group.
And Anindya, you must be very young, like 25 now, right? I just don't see this in America. I just don't see 25-year-olds with so much of education, work experience, motivation. I just don't see that. 25-year-olds here are still trying to figure out their life. They've just finished their undergrad and they are just mentally, they're much more younger than our Indian counterparts. I think we do much more in the first 25 years of our life than Americans.
I think that also holds true because of the thing कि इंडिया में तो है कि मास्टर्स नहीं किया तो जॉब नहीं मिलेगी. तो वो एक हो जाता है माइंडसेट कि भाई करना ही है वरना you'll be branded a fake society. Whereas people who I know in America, उनके लिए a lot of them, if they have some sort of plan, they're comfortable कि हाई स्कूल के बाद यूजी भी नहीं किया. They're happy doing that.